This is an open letter to Mark Carney and Pierre Poilievre. For a couple of months, I have been wallowing in my own pain, but this moment got me out of bed. For years, not just here in Canada, but around the world, I've watched leaders grow louder, angrier, sharper. I've watched speeches turn into weapons. I've watched applause become the goal and division become strategy. And I've taken part in it, trying to outshout each other, to say the harshest thing, to land the hardest blow, to rally people not by hope, but by outrage. And somewhere along the way, it started to feel normal. Last week, in Tumbler Ridge, after a mass shooting that took the lives of 9 people and wounded dozens more, in one of the deadliest school attacks this country has seen in decades, I watched the two of you stand together and hold hands. There were no triumphant lines, no pointed remarks, no performance. There was silence. And after years of noise, I was reminded of something that many of us have forgotten. Sometimes a quiet moment is louder than any speech will ever be. That image, the two political opponents standing side by side in a shared grief, said more about leadership than 1,000 campaign rallies ever could. It said, this is bigger than us. It said, the pain of children matters more than political fights. It said, we are capable of standing together when it counts. For a moment, our country was not a collection of sides. It felt like one body absorbing the blow. When I heard that the children would not be forced back to the building where they saw their classmates die, that modular classrooms would be brought in, and that their trauma would be honored instead of minimized, I cried again. That is care, and it feels radical right now. I think about how much anger has shaped politics in so many countries. I think about how often strength is confused with cruelty and conviction with volume. How often a country's people are left holding grief without seeing their leaders visibly unite, physically unite. And I wish for them what we witnessed here. Not perfection, not agreement on everything, just humanity. It reminded us that disagreement does not have to erase decency, that opposition does not mean dehumanization, and that we can fight fiercely and still reach for one another when the unthinkable happens. Please don't let that be a fleeting moment. Keep arguing policy, keep debating vision. That is your responsibility. But when this country hurts, keep choosing silence over spectacle. Keep choosing presence over performance. Keep showing us that the foundation beneath all of the fighting is still solid. Because last week in a small town, carrying unbearable grief, you were quiet. And that quiet was louder than anything I've heard in years. Lastly, and more importantly, to the parents, children, and community of Tumbler Ridge, I hope you feel the arms of every Canadian wrapped around you. May your children's names never be forgotten.
Side by side in the cold tonight, no left, no right, just candlelight. Different voices, different fights, but we stand as one tonight. We've seen them argue on every screen, lines run sharp and words cut clean. Two different roads, two different plans, but grief rewrites what politics can. No speeches loud, no slogans high, just quiet strength beneath the sky. In a moment bigger than debate, they showed up at the same school gates. You don't have to think the same to carry someone else's pain. Side by